News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. A lawsuit from a former IBM cybersecurity official alleges that IBM and AT&T concealed breaches of their computer systems by foreign hackers from the U.S. government in violation of the law. The complaint claims that the companies did not disclose breaches that happened over years by attackers linked to foreign governments and made false assurances about the security of their systems in order to win and keep federal contracts. The suit further alleges that foreign and unidentified hackers repeatedly infiltrated IBM's cloud computing infrastructure, which is widely used by the U.S. government, including the military. Excitement is building around SpaceX and its upcoming $75 billion IPO, so much so that JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon is selling his high net worth clients on it today at a live interactive event, even though Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are the top listed banks. Bloomberg's Sri Natarajan reports just about everyone on Wall Street wants in.
He is the star of the show today because you're not trying to sell investors on the value prospect and the growth prospect. You're trying to sell them on a grand vision. And it's really smart of the JP Morgan bankers to bring him out to talk about this deal with their ultra high net worth clients.
Bloomberg's Sri Natarajan reporting, and the information reports Goldman Sachs analysts expect SpaceX to burn $120 billion this year and next year combined, and another $230 billion through 2030. Forecasts expect SpaceX to reach $474 billion in revenue by 2030, with AI revenues making up two-thirds of the sales. President Trump says FHFA's Bill Pulte will not become the permanent director of national intelligence. Trump named Pulte acting DNI, but says he's not making it permanent.
It's an acting position. It's not a permanent. He's not going to be permanent because, I don't think he'd want to be permanent. But it's somebody just to take it over for a little while.
President Trump says they're interviewing people for the permanent position. President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, is reportedly expected to plead guilty to mishandling classified documents and has agreed to pay a $2 million fine in a deal that would allow him to avoid prison time. That hearing is set for June 26. The U.S. has sanctioned Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel and members of his family, ratcheting up pressure on the communist government even further. Cuba's armed forces and its internal surveillance network known as the Committees for the Defense of the Revolution were also added to the Treasury's blacklist. That's according to new guidance that was just issued. The Supreme Court has reinforced the power of the Securities and Exchange Commission to recover illegal profits. The justices ruled unanimously that the SEC does not have to show investor harm to win disgorgement from people and firms found to have violated federal securities laws. No sign of progress in ceasefire talks between the U.S. and Iran after the worst burst of violence in weeks. Bloomberg White House and National Security Editor Michelle Jimrisco.
Now we have Hezbollah saying, hey, we're not agreeing to this ceasefire, whatever you want to call it. Their chief saying today it's absurd. So that's not very encouraging, especially coming the morning after overnight strikes in southern Lebanon.
Bloomberg's Michelle Jimrisco on balance of power. Asked by reporters in the Oval Office about Hezbollah's rejection of the ceasefire, President Trump said, quote, they didn't reject me, and claimed, quote, they called us to discuss a cessation of hostilities. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has written an open letter to Russian President Vladimir Putin proposing peace talks. In the letter, Zelenskyy writes, quote, we in Ukraine do not want a permanent war. We know very well that life without war is infinitely better. A wave of dip buying powered a rebound in stocks. We bring you closing numbers each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 gained 31 points. NASDAQ lost 23. The Dow gained 875 points. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.47%. The 2-year yield at 4.04%. WTI crude just over $93 a barrel. And Brent crude is right at $95 a barrel. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent testified before the House Ways and Means Committee on Capitol Hill. He says the White House has asked Congress to eliminate the gas tax. Democratic Congressman John Larson of Connecticut pushed Bessent on that.
We have asked Congress to move to eliminate the gas tax. That is done through statute.
So you're in favor of eliminating the gas tax?
We have asked for that.
So we can join bipartisanly today because you're in favor to eliminate the gas tax.
Again, the White House has asked for it, sir.
Bessent added that President Trump's investment holdings are maintained and managed by independent third-party institutions. San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly says the current monetary policy is in a good place.
We are prepared to respond either way, whatever the economy brings. But I think giving more forward guidance about what's possible could be misguiding in the end, because we just have to wait for the economy to evolve. Everybody wants to resolve the uncertainty today, but I think that's a mistake because it will close off our mind about what we really have to look at.
Daly spoke with Bloomberg's Caroline Hyde and Ed Ludlow from the Bloomberg Tech event in San Francisco. You can hear more of our interview with San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly on the Bloomberg Talks podcast. President Trump's name must be removed from the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts by June 12th. CBS reports the organization's general counsel sent a memo to staff to have the Trump name removed from the building by the end of next week. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris, and this is Bloomberg.